If you've scrolled through any social media lately, you have definitely seen it. You know, that gorgeous, bouncy, layered hair that just seems to have a life of its own. Well, that's the butterfly haircut. So today, we're going to break down the viral tutorial from hairdresser Brad Mondo to figure out exactly how this cut creates so much volume and movement. And yeah, how you can actually do it yourself.
So let's just start with a feeling I think we all know. You look in the mirror and your hair just kind of hangs there, right? It's missing that bounce, that movement, that life you're always trying to get. If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone.
And according to Brad Mondo, this is the heart of the problem. When your hair is all one length, all that weight literally just pulls it down, making it look flat and honestly a little shapeless. This is especially true if you've got any natural wave or curl that's just getting stretched out.
And that's where the butterfly haircut comes in. It is designed specifically to fix this by carving in some strategic layers that get rid of the weight, add a ton of volume, and create all this beautiful movement. And you know what the best part is? It's actually surprisingly easy to do yourself.
All right, let's get into the how-to. Now, before any scissors even get near your hair, the prep work is what's going to make or break this whole thing. Let's see what you're going to need.
First up, let's get our tools in order. You are going to need proper hair scissors. And please, not the ones from your kitchen drawer. You'll also need a detangling brush, a fine-tooth comb for getting those parts just right, and a couple of hair elastics. A conditioning mist is optional, but it definitely helps make the whole process a bit smoother.
Okay, now for what is probably the single most important prep step. Your hair can't just be damp. As Brad Mondo so memorably puts it, it needs to be disgustingly wet. So why? Well, because this makes sure every single strand is straight and uniform, so you get a super clean, precise cut without any sneaky waves or cowlicks messing up your lines.
Okay, so your hair is prepped and your tools are ready. Now we get to the core of the haircut itself, which, you'll be happy to hear, is a surprisingly simple two-ponytail technique. It's really just a three-step process. First, you're going to find the apex. That's the highest point of your head, and part your hair from there down to just behind your ears. This separates the front from the back. Next, you gather up that entire front section into a neat ponytail right in the middle of your forehead. And finally, you take the entire back section and pull it up into a super high ponytail. Like, think Ariana Grande high, right at the crown. And here's a little tip that is going to save you a massive headache. Trying to pull a comb through soaking wet hair to get a clean ponytail can be a total nightmare. So instead, use a detangling brush. It'll just glide through so much more easily and help you get those clean, tight ponytails without a struggle.
Now, a super important warning here. You have to pay close attention to where you place that front ponytail. If it's too high up on your forehead, you're going to risk your front layers being way too short. We're talking accidental baby bangs territory. You want to center it right with your eyebrows. That's the sweet spot.
All right, the ponytails are locked in place. Now it's time for the main event, actually making the cut.
Believe it or not, this entire haircut is basically just two cuts. For the front, you pull the ponytails straight out from your forehead and just snip. This one cut creates all of those beautiful, shorter face-framing layers. Then for the back, you pull that ponytail straight up towards the ceiling and cut about the same amount off. This is what adds those longer layers through the rest of your hair, all while keeping your length.
So, just for reference, in the original tutorial, Brad Mondo takes off about 3 inches. This is a pretty good starting point, but you've got to remember it's just a guide.
And this brings us to the absolute golden rule of any DIY haircut. Start small. You can always take more hair off, but you can't glue it back on. So be conservative with that first snip. You can always go back for a little more later.
Okay, the basic shape is done, but you know, the real magic is in the details. This final section is all about refining the cut and adding those pro-looking finishing touches, like curtain bangs. To get those perfect, soft curtain bangs, you need to understand one key professional term: over-direction. It sounds complicated, but it just means pulling the hair away from where it normally sits before you cut it. This technique is what gives you that soft, sweeping effect instead of a hard, blunt line.
So here's how you do it. First, you're going to create a small triangle section for your bangs. Then, take one side and over-direct it. Comb it all the way over to the opposite side of your face. Then just angle your fingers to match your jawline and make the cut. Then you just repeat that on the other side, using that first cut as your guide. Easy.
And hey, a quick tip for those of you with thicker hair: if your new bangs feel a little bit bulky or heavy, you can use thinning shears just on the very ends. This will help take out some of that weight and let them lay a whole lot more softly.
And when you look at the before and after, the transformation is pretty dramatic. I mean, you go from heavy, one-length hair to a style that's multi-dimensional and just full of life. It totally creates a new shape, it frames your face, and it gives you so much more styling versatility.
So to sum it all up, the butterfly effect gives you instant volume, these soft cascading layers, and a beautiful face-framing shape. It's a super versatile style and, as Mondo himself describes it, it's sultry, sexy, and very feminine.
And this final quote, I think it really captures the magic of this whole technique. This isn't some complicated, hours-long process. With just 2 ponytails and 2 main cuts, the transformation is almost instant. Which really just leaves us with one final question. For anyone who wants to totally transform their hair at home without some crazy, complicated process, is the butterfly cut the ultimate DIY solution? I mean, by simplifying professional layering techniques into a simple 2-step method, it makes a very, very strong case.